luck favors the prepared. All right, I'm going to say that again. Luck favors the prepared. The more prepared you are for something, and you may not know exactly what that is, but you are preparing. You're always striving for more. You're always thinking ahead. The more that you are prepared, the luckier you're going to be when an opportunity comes. And welcome to the Roughnecks podcast. This is Reno's Rants, episode number 2. We need a reminder. I am taking over what was previously known as Fast Fridays. They are now Reno's Rants. Where you get to hear me. My name's Reno Rita. Just kind of rant about a bunch of different things. Sort of my motto is I talk about common sense nonsense, where I try to bring out some common sense things. But at the same time, I know it's probably full of a bunch of nonsense. So common sense nonsense, what I try to bring here with these Reno's Rants here on the Roughnecks podcast. So today's rants, and I'm going back to my roots. I'm in my car. I'm driving home from work. It feels right. This is how Reno's Rants started. Yes, I'm being safe. Okay, I have my phone in the little thing. So if you were to look at me, it looks like I'm just talking to myself in my car, which I've done before. But so with this rants, one thing that it kind of bothers me when people say this, and there's a big difference between the two here, and I'll explain. And it is being lucky and being unlucky. Okay, now can people just be flat out unlucky or just flat out lucky? Of course they can, right? You could get struck by lightning, like, dude, you were unlucky. You got hit, right? Or you could be just extremely lucky. Something just falls into your lap and like you win the lottery type thing is the most common example, right? You got lucky, 1 in millions chance, and you got it. Okay, but I'm not necessarily talking about those type of luck and unluck. What I'm talking about is like, wow, almost like a jealousy. Like, wow, that person is just lucky. Or man, I'm just unlucky. Is I want you to think of it like this. Luck favors the prepared. All right, I'm going to say that again. Luck favors the prepared. The more prepared you are for something, and you may not know exactly what that is, but you are preparing. You're always striving for more. You're always thinking ahead. The more that you are prepared, the luckier you're going to be when an opportunity comes. All right. So it's not necessarily being lucky. It's being prepared for an opportunity, right? What's Eminem say? You only get one shot, one opportunity. Like sometimes that happens. And when that situation comes up to you, are you ready for it? Are you prepared for it? Or are you kind of in that moment? It's like, I'm not ready for it. And we all know, I'm sure everybody's been in that position before. I've definitely been there where like you get called upon. It's like, hey, Reno, why don't you explain like how this works? And you're just kind of like, shit. Like, I don't know. And like, how stupid do you feel? You were unprepared. And then you take a step back, be like, man, I was just so unlucky that they called on me. Like whatever. It's like, were you unlucky? Or were you unprepared? I think I was unprepared for that. And don't ever let that happen again. Now, can you prepare for everything? No, you can't prepare for everything. Like some things just gonna happen. But I think you can prevent a lot of that by being ready and by preparing. And I'm going to give you an example. And as most of you know, I played college football at Kent State. I guess, sort of the background to it. Throughout high school, I played defensive end, tight end. I was floating around 215, 220 pounds my senior year. And as I was getting recruited from a bunch of the different MAC schools mainly, they were all telling me, we want you to play offensive line. We want you to play offensive line. And in the back of my head, I'm like, there ain't no way I want to play offensive line. Just not my thing. I like catching the ball. I like tackling people. I just don't want to block people. And Kent State came in. They're like, hey, we think you have the frame. to be a tackle, but we kind of want you to play defensive end. We might want you to play tight end. We don't really know yet. So I'm like, okay, I can kind of roll with that. Whereas everyone else, I guess it was just like, you're going to be a tackle one day. So I go into Kent, and at this point, I'm like 235, 240. My freshman year, first day of camp, first day of showing up, and they're like, nope, you're playing tackle. So I'm extremely undersized now, and I'm just getting throttled at practice. Like, I'm getting crushed. But I had great mentors ahead of me too. Two guys went on to play for the NFL for multiple years. One guy ended up winning a Super Bowl with the Patriots. So excellent mentors. And as mentors, it's their job to punish me and to make me better and to show me what I'm going up against. I was a good player in high school, and these guys, and I show up here, it's like smack of reality right in the face. All right. And I say all this because I was so undersized. So I had to gain weight, I had to gain strength, I had to do all this as pretty much as fast as I could. And I got redshirted my first year, just pretty much for that, to gain some girth behind me. And so going into my redshirt freshman year now, so it's a 1 year later, my redshirt freshman year, now it's time where I can actually get, it's playing time. I can see some playing time finally. And I knew I was still undersized. Now I gained a little weight. I was like 265, 270 going into spring ball, and an opportunity came up. Our starting left guard, he went down with a knee injury. He's going to be out multiple weeks. And it's going to take him probably out for the season. And what happened? My coach looked at me and he said, Rita, get in there. So it's kind of going back to that one scenario I was talking earlier. And was I going to say, oh, shit, I'm not ready for this? Or did I prepare for it? And like, yes, I knew I was undersized, but I was going crazy in the weight room. I knew I was strong. I didn't necessarily have the body mass, but I knew I was strong. I was studying the playbooks. Like I tried to learn every single position on the offensive line, and thank God I did, because he asked me to go and play at guard. I was practicing at tackle this whole entire time. I wasn't like necessarily that comfortable at guard, but having to prepare, I knew a moment could come up just like this. So I went in there and I had to rely on my preparation. I had to rely on my football smarts, my strength, my speed, my footwork. Speaking of, why is it called footwork and not feet work? I don't know. It should be feet work, right? Anyway, so I had to rely on all that. And I could have stepped back and I could have crumbled and I could have said, man, I was just so unlucky. Why did he have to call on me? Right. It wasn't my moment, or I could seize the moment and go for it. And I felt like I did. And going in, I knew that that's something I never wanted to give up again. Was that spot. Yeah, like, did I feel bad the guy got hurt? Like, of course I did. But at the same time, I'm going to make sure he's going to have a hell of a time getting that position back. Like, that's mine now. And so I just think being lucky, being unlucky, you can kind of look at it in a way of being prepared and being unprepared. And that can go quite a bit. But I say that, like, also take pride in you being lucky, or you being in the right place at the right time and being prepared for that moment. Now, show some humility and don't be, selfish about it, but show some pride. Like, you did that. You prepared. Like, give yourself some credit. And when people then you see it from the outside. People look at you and say, man, he's just lucky. He's just lucky. He didn't deserve that. Like, he's just lucky. But in the back of your mind, you don't have to justify anything. You don't have to justify a damn thing, because you know that you went in there and you prepared for this. So when someone wants to question you, you don't need to justify yourself. Okay, you did it with your actions, and you're going to let them find out. That's how I see it. And this truly fires me up a lot, because I experienced a lot of this growing up. Like, was I lucky growing up with my size and my and like even my family situation? Like, yeah, I think I was. Like, of course I can't be, you can't teach size. But you can't teach me going to the weight room every single day. You can't teach me wanting to get straight A's every day. Like, you don't just teach that. You have to want that. I've seen plenty of guys way bigger than me, way smarter than me, just and not prepare for it. That's all they're relying on is their luck and what they were dealt. Don't let luck be your driving factor. Don't rely on luck because it's going to run out. I'm sure you've heard that before. Your luck's going to run out, so you better rely on your preparation in order to move you forward from there. So, and again, I want to give you another example too of where kind of me personally, like, yeah, I'm going to put my foot down and I'm going to be proud of what I've done is at my work right now. I've taken 6 different positions. I've been there 6 years and I'm not trying to boast about myself. I promise I'm not. I'm just telling you, like, you got to walk around with some confidence sometimes too. It's like, I'm the young guy. I'm not even 30 yet. At my work, and I'm managing people who are in their 50s or who have been at the company for 15, 20 years, and me introducing myself like, hey, I'm Reno, like your new manager. I can feel it immediately. Like, who's this young guy coming in here? Who is he to tell me what to do? Like, I feel that. But again, I don't need to justify that. Like, they're going to learn. They're going to learn why I'm in this position. Not necessarily going to learn why they're not. It's just like, I was more prepared. I wasn't luckier. There was an opportunity, and who came out on top? Probably the person who was most prepared, the most ready for it. So, with that said, let me take a deep breath here for a second because this gets me fired up. It really does. But at the same time, like take this so serious, as you can't rely on your luck. You can't rely on it. Same thing with anyone who back to the lottery thing. You see people playing the lottery all the time and only relying on the lottery. Come on now. So that is my rant. This one I've been kind of holding in on this one for a little bit. And honestly, it feels good to kind of talk about it. So thank you guys for listening in to Reno's Rants, where kind of speak common sense, nonsense, of course. Now, for the announcements, please, guys, send in your questions for Cole and a guest for Q&A, and it can be about anything, any questions you have. He'll list all the ways to contact him, contact me down below. So please do that. Send in any questions that you have. Also, go help support the Roughnecks podcast. Cole has some sweet merch out there. Just go get a t-shirt. Have you seen that logo? It is sick. Come on. Just go grab a t-shirt, help support the cause, and also please share, like, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff for us. We, like I've said before, we've got a lot of momentum rolling with this podcast. So please help support us. Help us continue to bring the love and be able to do what we like to do. I, of course, as you can tell, I love to talk. Cole does the same thing. He loves doing this. He loves bringing on guests, and I think we can really make this an awesome thing, a more awesome thing that we're already doing. So, Roughnecks podcast, go support it. Thank you all for everything you do, for listening to us. As always, if you have questions, if you have concerns, if you want to hear about something else, let us know. All right, I'm signing off. See you guys later.
Thank you guys for tuning in to today's episode of the Roughnecks Podcast. If you liked today's episode, then please be sure to share it with a friend. You can follow the Roughnecks Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Roughnecks Podcast. Head over to roughneckspodcast.com and grab yourself some Roughnecks merch. Until next time, make sure you grab the bull by the horns and take control of your life. Roughnecks, out.